preview for tonight's game. So for those of you listening, if you're on your way home or hung in with us on the stream or just tuning in, glad to have you here. We'll get through this and we'll ignore what happened last hour.
Yeah, truncated, so we'll try to fit as much of the good stuff in this hour that we have together with you, even if it is a little bit shortened hour. But certainly the focus is on Utah State and San Jose State squaring off tonight in the Spectrum. Tip-off at 7:30. Pre-game coverage on our sister station, KVNU. That'll begin at 6:30. And Jason, the last time these two teams met, it was an interesting one. And there's been some question as to who would be available in this game tonight for San Jose. They've had a few injuries. Some of their best players, top contributors, have missed the last couple of games. But it looks like as of today, word is that Josh Aduje will be making his return to the Spectrum, just wearing a Spartan jersey instead of his familiar Aggie jersey.
Yeah, so I think it's really nice that he's able to make his return. The other questionable player, Will McClendon, he's still questionable. Sounds like he'll be a game-time decision. They'll just figure out, once they get there, when he warms up, if he'll be able to play, or who knows, maybe when they do shoot-around, because they'll have an afternoon shoot-around before. They've probably already had that shoot-around, so they may have already determined, but we'll definitely find out once we get to game time here in a couple of hours. 7:30 tip as opposed to 7. I found out why it got moved a half hour, and that was mainly because of the fact that the women's team played today. They did the 11 a.m. game, and it was just a timing thing. They San Jose wanted to get their shoot-around in, and it wouldn't have worked timing-wise with a 7 o'clock tip, so they moved it a half hour down the line for 7:30. So
okay,
that's that, I guess.
That's fair enough. Makes sense. But last time these two teams met, Aggies were mostly in control. I mean, it was a back-and-forth game through about halfway into the first half. 11 minutes in, it was anybody's ball game. And then Utah State really clamped down defensively. San Jose got cold. Aggies separated. And then it was kind of a back-and-forth, but Aggies always holding them at arm's length. And then the Aggies got cold, and San Jose came back, tied the game, and made it so it was like anybody's ball game with about 7 minutes to go. But then Utah State digs in, and they hold off the Spartans, but they made it uncomfortable for most of the game the last time these two teams met. Will tonight be similar? Can San Jose make it uncomfortable for Utah State? They've shown they can play well against some of the better teams in the conference. And with Josh Aduje back, playing at the friendly confines of the Spectrum, it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out. Now, he did he play last time? No, he did.
He did.
But he wasn't really the guy that really made things go, and it was Yap who got super hot from three, that had 6 3-pointers in that one to keep them in the game, especially late.
Yeah, it was Donovan Yap and their kind of star sixth man, Latrell Davis, who at this point he has to. I know Carson Templin was a pretty big sixth man of the year candidate, but Latrell Davis will certainly put his mark on that. Those are the two guys that really went off for the Spartans last time. 22 for Yap, 20 for Davis. They combined for 9 of the 14 3-pointers made by the Spartans in that game, and quite a few of the free throws as well. Although there weren't too many free throws by either team, to be honest. Wasn't really a game that had a lot of fouls for either team. But there were a lot of 3-pointers, particularly from the Spartans. They hit 14 3-pointers. The Aggies did well, 9 of 24, I think it was.
Yeah, yep.
So not spectacular, not bad. Good is what I'd call it. You shoot 37%, you're probably doing all right from 3. So the Aggies really had no issues offensively. It's really just defensively what went kind of wrong there. And I don't know if anything went wrong per se. It's just that San Jose is a really streaky team. They're a team that can just go out there and make a lot of shots. They've got some guys who will, Latrell Davis is a guy who will jack up a lot of shots. Donovan Yap. These are guys that will just go out there, take any jump shots out there. 3-pointers, dribble jumpers. The Spartans take an above average number of these dribble jumpers or early jumpers, floaters, runners, type of off balance shots, along with taking a high volume of 3-pointers. They're a team that relies on their jump shooting. They're not a very good team getting into the paint and scoring there. They rely on a lot of jump shots, and that's part of why you're streaky. Like, jump shooting is just kind of streaky by nature. They're more difficult shots, and so you can be prone to having nights where you just nail all of them or miss all of them. So that's something with San Jose where they were just kind of on against Utah State. But even that didn't help them because of their reliance on jump shots. When it got toward the end and suddenly they started getting cold, they just kind of collapsed. And they couldn't get any of the shots they needed. And I saw this with San Jose against Utah State, obviously. Saw it when they were playing San Diego State. They barely scraped by with New Mexico. Mind you, it's impressive that they were able to stick with teams like Utah State, San Diego State, and New Mexico. But the New Mexico game being the exception, the Spartans will get to the end of the game and they're just dependent on, do you make that miracle shot? And they haven't really, for the most part. And for instance, in the Utah State game, they missed 14 of their last 15 shots. A lot of them were jumpers. Let's see, of those final 15 shots, 4 of them were layups. So when you're getting to the end of the game and you need a bucket, are you hitting a 2-point jumper or are you just jacking up threes? The Aggies, you look at their final shots in the game, they're all layups and open 3-pointers. The kind of highly efficient shots you want to take. And so they finished the game. They made 5 of their last 7. They close out the game. So San Jose, a very streaky team and a team that lacks balance in its offense. And that's the thing I think the Aggies can take advantage of, among other things.
Yeah, and so let's actually hear from Coach Calhoun and hear what he has to say as he took some time to share his thoughts about this matchup tonight in the Spectrum in 6:30 pregame, 7:30 tip, as Utah State prepares to take on San Jose State, a team that would love nothing more than to come in and spoil Utah State and steal a win on the road over the Aggies. They know they've played well before. They shot well from 3. Will the Aggies let them do that again? Let's hear what Coach Calhoun has to say about the Spartans and the matchup tonight.
So I guess you guys have done pretty well after losses all year. Obviously haven't lost 2 in a row. It's what is about the team that's been pretty successful coming off of a loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you win, there's a lot to learn. Anytime you lose, there's a lot to learn. So I think you got to stay even-keeled. You got to know what you're playing for. A lot of basketball left. I think it's about momentum, getting that momentum back. Learning from a win and learning from a loss, I think, are really, really key ingredients to continue to get better. But, it's easy with our guys because they're not going to sulk. They're not going to pout. We've got a great group of guys, so I feel really confident that they'll move on from that loss.
How have they respond? I mean, did you practice yesterday? Did you ever practice?
Yeah, I mean, this time, Sean, this time of year, you can't really do a ton, especially the day after a game. So it was more of a mental day, right? Just getting back on track, watching the tape, coming out, doing a few things live, nothing crazy. Today we'll get after it a little bit for about an hour and 10 minutes, and then, you play. So there's not a ton of time to really practice. We'll have that gap, after Colorado State before we play Air Force. We'll have 7 days, which I think is going to be awesome. We'll give them a couple days off and then really get after and try to get better there. But, you can get better in a lot of different ways, whether it's watching a tape, just making a few corrections, and I feel like our guys have done that.
So at times throughout a season, certain issues pop up they got to work on, like there's times where shooting or rebounding or defense have been an issue. You address that, and then you fix it. Are there any things from this last game that you feel like this is maybe something to refocus on and take care of that?
Yeah, it's been something we've talked about is just having, stamina, right? Defensive stamina, playing through, fouls, playing through, difficult situations, getting those big stops. San Jose State is really a team that has a lot of weapons. They made 14 threes on us last time. They got a lot of guys that can score in bunches. They beat New Mexico. They played San Diego State to 2 3-point games. They get up for the really good teams. So their coach is terrific. He's been around a long time. They present a lot of challenges. So we just got to concentrate and try to, really, I think, get better in the last 15 minutes of a basketball game.
Speaking of San Jose, do you know much about what's going on with their top 2 scorers? They haven't played the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think Josh is battling some back stuff. We anticipate both kids being back, but, who knows?
I guess you mentioned the 14 threes they made. How much of that do you feel like was just kind of an outlier? Some teams have a good shooting night. How much of that was you guys maybe letting them get a little bit hot and go?
Yeah, we definitely had some breakdowns. We got to give them a credit. I thought they had a really good game plan in the second half. They made some really key adjustments, and a couple of their guys had great nights, So just having that sense of urgency, I think, throughout the full 40-minute games will be, critical, really, not just in this game, but really in the how many ever games we have left to play, including the Mountain West and hopefully beyond that, so.
What are some of their personnel? I mean, looking at Davis and Yap, they've got some guys that have, like you said, a variety of guys that they can use.
Yeah, they play 4-guard lineups. They play small. They, they kind of spread you out. They don't use 2 traditional bigs. They do some things that are a little bit different than most of the teams in the conference. They'll switch up their defenses. They'll play man. They'll play zone. Guard ball screens differently. Coach Miles is a terrific coach, so he'll make adjustments throughout the game, and you got to counter some of those things.
What are the challenges with preparing for that? Because you've had games against Fresno State where they presented some challenges with some smaller lineups. Like, how do you try to adjust to that after playing teams like New Mexico and all those that play a little bit bigger?
I think everything starts and ends with possessions. We've been one of the better teams in the country at valuing the ball. That's got to continue, right? We got to get to shots. We got to take high level shots. Keep us out of transition, right? With 4-guard lineups, you got to crash the glass. So if you're not shooting the ball, you got to get on the glass, keep them out of transition, and then we got to make it really, really hard for them, in the half court. And that's, best thing we can do is keep the ball in front of us. You look at some of their scores. I thought Boise State did a really good job against them. Just being solid. You got to be solid.
How are you guys health-wise? Was it Albury that kind of went out towards the end of the game last game?
Yeah, slammed his, on the one drive to the rim, he kind of hit his elbow and then it ran up his hand. He's fine. I think Tuck's, now practicing and playing without pain, which is good. He fought through some of that. Ian is battling a little back stuff as well. We're monitoring that every day. He's getting a lot of treatment. But other than that, everybody's pretty good.
So I believe, Jordy, I don't think he played in the last game. Was that just a kind of rotation constricting kind of situation?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Jason. My wife asked the same thing. So did my mom, to be honest with you. My mom has a lot of answers, I'll tell you. She's definitely a couch coach. I call her the couch coach. Basketball is all about matchups. We just felt in that particular game, Drake Allen played pretty well. Dayton played pretty well. There's going to be certain nights you go with guys, and it was just one of those decisions.
So there's Coach talking about his team and preparations for San Jose. And are you a couch coach? I think I'm a couch coach.
I try not to be because I hear, that there's 2 things that I hear from a lot of fans that I'm never comfortable with me being able to say those same things because I don't feel like I'm qualified to actually be able to criticize in these areas. And that's, if you look at football, everyone whines about the play calling, even though they can't remember any of the plays that were actually called. And then in basketball, it's always the rotations. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you running these rotations? Why are you playing this guy? And it's like, come on. Now, sometimes that's when where I almost feel like I know a little more on that, but even still, who am I to know the intricacies of lineup changes and all that?
But the good news out of that is that it appears like guys have been dealing with some things, but they're getting healthier. And so that is, having a full healthy roster at this stage of the season is a big thing, and especially the way the Aggies play. Now, Ian is still dealing with some back issues, it sounds like, but he's been receiving treatment, and it sounds like he's improving, and a couple of the guys are improving as well. So Good news, good signs for USU.
Well, I generally wouldn't overreact. I know we got to hit a break, but I generally wouldn't overreact to any of these because every team is dealing with these kind of small things. Injuries that are not severe in the sense that it's that difference between, being hurt and being injured. A lot of these guys are hurt. Ankle sore, back sore, wrist is sore, elbow is sore, shoulder sore, any number of things. And it just comes down to proper treatment. That's where the training staff comes in to make sure that it stays just sore in mild amount of pain. Because obviously if you don't treat it right, then it becomes an injury and then it becomes a problem.
It's about pain management for some of these guys.
And ensuring that, and that's where, all the stretches and warm-ups and all that comes in. It's managing injuries and pain to make sure that all it is just a little discomfort as opposed to a true injury. Because you can play through the discomfort, you can still be elite through discomfort. But if those become injuries, then it's a problem. All
right, we got to hit a timeout. Still more to discuss in the short time that we have together. 435-339-0321 on the Young Power Sports text line if you want to chime in.
One-of-a-kind diamond, as unique as she is. Our exclusive brand of Needham Brilliant Diamonds are white in color, high in clarity, and are recognized for their precise cut. These diamonds are natural, untreated, and are the real thing. Show her you care enough to give her a diamond, an investment for generations to come. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Les Olson IT is your source for top quality technology. We carry the latest desktop and laptop PCs in stock, configured to your specific needs, and backed by our award-winning support team. And if your business demands high-performance hardware, we offer custom-built computers that can tackle any task. We also offer great computer accessories like monitors, keyboards, speakers, Fujitsu document scanners, and more. Get a quote today. Les Olson IT.
Hey, did you drop the ball on Valentine's Day? If so, I can help you make up for it. This is Jarek from Jarek's Fine Jewelry. No matter where you're at in your relationship, we have something she'll love. Stop in and we'll help you pick her out a thoughtful yet inexpensive necklace, pair of earrings, bracelet, watch, or even if you're ready for the next step, with our selection of over 3,000 designs, we'll find her the perfect engagement ring. Even after Valentine's Day, it's all about the romance. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. This is a story that came to us from a real customer, and I wanted to share it with you.
We came in looking for a scooter for our mother. The staff at Alpine showed us different options for scooters and battery-operated wheelchairs and helped us find one that was easy for her to handle and easy for us to get in and out of her car. They have fabulous customer service.
We love hearing about your experiences. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com.
Want to set yourself apart from the competition? The Leadership MBA at Utah State University will help you lead companies and drive change in your organization. You can attend in person in Logan on Thursday evenings or take an interactive online class. Complete your MBA in as little as a year. Apply before March 1st to be considered for summer semester. Contact the MBA office for a waiver of the $55 application fee. Learn more at utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com.
The Murdoch Auto Team is celebrating 100 years of winter journeys at Murdoch GMC Chevrolet Cadillac, and we want to be a part of your next adventure, whether you're heading to the mountains for a quick ski run or embarking on a snowy weekend getaway. Right now, take up to $10,500 off a new 2025 Sierra 1500. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family at Murdoch Chevrolet GMC Cadillac in Logan or online at murdochchevroletlogan.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Call 888-391-6083 or see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 3/3/2025.
Are you in need of excellent surgical care? Budge Clinic General Surgery offers the future of surgery with state-of-the-art robotic-assisted procedures. From cancer treatments to surgical needs, they've got you covered. Call Budge Clinic General Surgery today, 435-716-1950, to schedule a consultation and experience the best possible outcome. Trust Doctors Anderson, Marshall, McKenna, and Peterson, the experts at Budge Clinic General Surgery, helping people live the healthiest lives possible.
They never could play it, but they sure can talk about it. Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker on the Full Court Press.
The semi-annual Napa Gold Filter Sale, it's going up. It's coming up on March 1st. But Napa has oil on sale now, like Chevron 15W40 oil, just $13.99 a gallon. A lot of other great deals in store at your locally owned Napa stores from Preston to Providence. So Utah State men's basketball getting ready to take on San Jose State tonight in the Spectrum. Pre-game coverage at 6:30, tip-off at 7:30. And Aggies trying to stay on top of, not totally on top, I guess, in second place in the standings. At least not try not to make it too complicated in the standings. Aggies are in sole possession of second, but if they slip up, there are definitely other teams waiting in the wings to make it more complicated for USU. Because there's another game that's interesting tonight that has big-time implications. Boise State hosting New Mexico, 8 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. And Boise State is favored in this one, 4.5. In some outlets, I've seen 5.5. A few other places that are favoring Boise State in their matchup against the Lobos.
Yeah, well, you look at Boise State; their metrics are pretty good. You look at KenPom; they're sitting at 49. New Mexico's 38, not that far ahead of them. And Boise State has a decent home court advantage, and just playing at home anyway. KenPom has them winning by 2, so the lines probably moved a little too much, and being favored by 4 or 5 almost sounds like too much, but basketball lines are kind of dumb anyway because they're never accurate. You'll be favored by 3 and win by 7. You'll be favored by 7 and win by 1. You'll be favored by 11 and lose by 2. It's like it's a whole different ballgame with a lot of this stuff. But who knows? Boise State may be able to handle New Mexico. And the last time they played, they just got their butts whipped. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that game. But that was also a stretch of the season where Boise State was just playing bad. They've had a chance to play against some of the lower teams in the conference. Fresno, San Jose, Nevada's further down there. They did really well against all those teams, but they are also coming off of a big loss to San Diego State. They seem to really struggle when playing these big games because they don't have a loss to any of the teams in the bottom half of the conference, but they don't have a win over anybody in the top half of the conference.
Yeah.
So Boise's kind of got this a bad contrast in their schedule.
Last night, there were a couple of games in conference play. Wyoming got past Air Force 69-62. Colorado State beat Nevada 79-71 in Fort Collins. And San Diego State just put the hammer down on Fresno State 83-60 to tell people they can actually score the basketball and they do have some offense from time to time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is all the times they were playing close games, they're holding teams to 60 or low 50s, mid to high 50s, low 60s. Their defense has never skipped a beat the entire season. It's just they'll win 63-61 or something like that.
Right.
But when they finally get that offense going, that's when they'll just blow a team out. And they've done that a couple of times, but not nearly enough. But the thing is, San Diego State on the heels of the Aggies, as are Colorado State. So if you were technically for the Aggies, the best thing for them would have been for at least to maintain a comfortable lead in second. You'd have rooted for Nevada or even Fresno State. That didn't happen. Nevada was doing well against Colorado State, but then the Rams just flipped things around, ended up dominating that second half. But Utah State can take care of business themselves with the game tonight. Stay ahead, and you've got games against Colorado State and San Diego State down the stretch, so they can take care of all the business they need to maintain second place. But, of course, it starts tonight with going out there and just dominating the Spartans, which they should be able to do. And there's a bunch of different ways they can do it. There's weaknesses that the Spartans 100% have that are almost fatal. There's a reason the Spartans don't have a winning record. It's because they have serious weaknesses, and they can be exploited by good teams. They have weaknesses on offense, and they have weaknesses on defense. And the Aggies should be able to exploit both of them. They exploited both of those in the last game against the Spartans.
Yeah, if Donovan Yap doesn't go crazy from 3, which was abnormal, this game is not really that close. But they were trying to do some things to exploit the Utah State matchup zone, which it's a well-coached team trying to take advantage of that, and they just had a great shooting night. That was a little bit abnormal for them. But Utah State saw that this was a team that found out a way to be competitive against the Aggies and make them uncomfortable. So they've got to get to the guy that's receiving the pass as the ball arrives, so they don't have time to set up for a shot because there's already a defender in their face, and just take away their space out on the perimeter and not give them good, clean, open looks from 3 because they know they can shoot against the Aggies.
Yeah, you've got to be able to run them off the three-point line or give them uncomfortable three-point shots. And then you got to be a little bit lucky, too, because that's a big thing with 3-pointers. Some of it's just luck, make or miss. You might give a team 15 wide open 3-pointers, but that night they just made 3 of them, and you just get lucky even if you had terrible 3-point defense. Because we've seen that with the Aggies where sometimes they're lucky, sometimes they're unlucky. And sometimes it's a combination of good defense and luck. Like you look at Iowa, they shut down Iowa, but the Hawkeyes just missed some 3-pointers they normally make. And then like this game against Boise State, their opponents just made 3-pointers they don't normally make. Especially the Broncos, who are one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country, and they made 14 of them against the Aggies. So just make sure you're not giving them any easy looks. And I think you can definitely shut down the Spartans. 78 is not very typical for them unless they find more balance, which they didn't have balance in this game. They were very dependent. They were living in this, say live or die by the 3. They were living on the 3-pointer. They struggled. Of their 60 attempts, they took 15 layups.
Wow,
that's a quarter of their, which is a terrible, balance. You need to be taking a lot of shots at the rim. Like obviously, you want most of your shots to be layups or open 3-pointers, or you get some free throws. Like that's the balance you want. Because those are your most efficient shots. But they were just, more than half of their attempts were 3-pointers. They were just living on jump shots. They happen to make a bunch of those. Do they do it again tonight? I doubt it. And then I think the Aggies, they scored, 46 points in the paint, I think is what my notes said. 46 points in the paint. They shot 21 of 30 on layups, which is solid. It's not the most spectacular, but it's 60+%. You want to be above that 60% mark on shots at the rim, and they shot a lot at the rim and they made a lot at the rim, and you want to keep doing that. And then they shot decently from 3. But the thing is, the Aggies found a lot of success in the paint. They attempted 24 3-pointers, and it's their 3rd lowest rate of 3-pointers. What percentage of your shots were 3-pointers? It's not their 3rd lowest 3-point total, but in terms of the percentage of shot, it's their 3rd lowest in conference play and 6th or 7th lowest on the season. They didn't feel the need to attempt a whole lot of 3-pointers. They didn't, and it worked out for them. They lived at the rim in a lot of cases, a lot of different players getting involved. Not necessarily Abin Gadarazzi or Carson Templin, because I think they only combined for they combined for 14 points. Carson got 10 of those. But it's a lot of your other guys. Tucker Anderson. He made 3 shots inside the arc. Ian, 4 of his 5 made field goals were inside the 3-point line. Mason Falslev, more than half of his makes were inside the arc. Dayton Albury didn't make a 3-pointer and he had 13 points. Attack the paint. San Jose is very weak there. They're one of the worst teams. I think they rank 305th in rim defense as far as points per possessions allowed when opponents shoot at the rim. The Spartans can't defend the rim. The Aggies already know that.
Yeah.
They did it to them last game.
Take advantage of your size and the way that your team is built to attack. Play to your strengths and try to take away San Jose's strengths. Not that they really have too many, but
they can
certainly
hit some
last time they faced each other, they had shooters that were willing to put it up almost every time they came down the court.
Yeah. So everything they did offensively last game, do it again, because it is about as good of an offensive game plan. And they got 85 points. That's a good night by pretty much any standard. So do a lot of that on offense, and I believe we've got to hit another break, but we can get into some of the things defensively. Some of the, in a weird stat that I came across, a really weird trend for the Spartans involving their 3-point shooting. We can get to that next.
Yeah, I've got to hit a timeout, but if you want to chime in and let us know a score prediction that you might have for tonight's matchup between Utah State and San Jose, let us know on the Young Power Sports text line, 435-339-0321.
A diamond is forever and is perfect to represent your love. For those special occasions, give her a natural, one-of-a-kind diamond, as unique as she is. Our exclusive brand of Needham Brilliant Diamonds are white in color, high in clarity, and are recognized for their precise cut. These diamonds are natural, untreated, and are the real thing. Show her you care enough to give her a diamond, an investment for generations to come. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's fireplace category help you update your home with Napoleon's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Napoleon has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
The Best of Northern Utah contest is back, presented by Alpine Cleaning and Restoration. We're asking you to think about those special places that make our community unique and nominate them now at bestofnorthernutah.com. Perhaps you know a mechanic or handyman that goes the extra mile. Maybe a restaurant where you love to unwind, your hairstylist, a favorite car wash, or a medical professional who truly cared. Nominate any business right now at bestofnorthernutah.com. Presented by Alpine Cleaning and Restoration.
Best of Northern Utah.
A mouth-watering Cafe Sabor burrito, smothered in cheese and fresh guacamole with endless chips and salsa, plus your favorite drink, all for just $7.95. It's Locals Day at Cafe Sabor. Every Thursday, the drinks are bottomless, the chips and salsa are endless, and the burritos are amazing, all for just $7.95. There's nothing better. It's Cafe Sabor's way of saying thanks, Cache Valley. Don't miss Locals Day every Thursday at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station, 6th West and Center in Logan.
Happy winter! This is Mark at the Sportsman on Main Street, where we make winter fun. We are your ski, snowboard, snowshoe, and cross-country ski rental shop. Come in and rent for the day or longer and have a great time outside. We also have great deals on new skis, boots, bindings, underwear, and outerwear, so you are comfortable playing in the snow. See the Sportsman for the best deals, the best service, and most unique products you will find for the outdoors. Only at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan.
Adams Wealth Advisors' entire team says, thank you, Cache Valley, for voting them the best financial planner in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Honesty and integrity is the hallmark of Adams Wealth Advisors. Let them earn your trust today.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind, whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit adamswealthadvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see adamswealthadvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
This is Ryan, My Mattress. I have a little bit of a bone to pick with online bed-in-a-box mattresses. If value is the combination of price and quality, these beds are not a good value. They cost about $1,000 and they last about 3 years. That's not a very good ratio. At My Mattress, you can get a $799 Sealy Posturepedic that will last you 10 plus years. The best value is at My Mattress. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally?
The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
The sleds have to go, and prices are slashed. 4 days only, February 19th through the 22nd, so it's on now. Sleds $2,000 to $3,000 under book value. It's at Young Power Sports of Logan. Best pricing on used sleds in the entire Intermountain West. Starting today through Saturday, 4 days only. Check out their inventory and pricing at youngpowersportslogan.com. And they sponsor our text line. A couple of texts coming through. Appreciate everyone's patience. This is, we had to work through a few issues earlier in the show. But 5452, that was just asking about the streaming issues.
And a lot of some of the text line, it was people figuring out streaming issues. So
2444, with the Mountain West football schedule releasing tomorrow, do we already know which teams the Aggies will be playing in conference, or will that be news in addition to game dates? And we know who Utah State will play. We know all the teams they will play. We know where they will play. We just don't know when. So that's what will be released tomorrow.
Yeah.
9310, thanks for hanging in there with us. Same with 8968, 9315, a couple of texts before the show. See your buddy, great pal that should have stayed at Utah State, and while he was here, was a great player. Will be playing tonight. Assuming you mean Josh Aduje. Yes, he will play. I understand why he left, but it would have been cool to have him stay. Yeah, but he probably would have still been in a 6-man role if he stayed.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's looking for. Is he was looking for a 6-man role. Ian Martinez and Mason Falstaff, I think they both hit the transfer portal. Both ended up deciding to stay. And I think he would have stepped into a bigger role had one of them left, but since they both returned, he decided it was better for him to leave. And to be honest, like if I was him, I would have definitely considered the same thing.
He was a late portal addition.
Yeah, like last day of the portal.
I don't blame him. It would have been great to see him stay in an Aggie uniform, and maybe he could have found a way to still fight for time, but it was likely that he was going to be still in that 6-man role for Utah State. A couple other texts. Just heard on the radio that a basketball team is a complex system like a cell phone. Sometimes it just needs a reset to fix itself and get rid of the bugs. Is this true?
So they were talking about San Diego State. I mean, you can certainly compare it there, I think.
I think they were talking about a different team that had some... I thought they were talking about like Indiana.
So there's 9, 3, and 5 saying they were talking about San Diego State using that analogy.
Oh, I don't Okay, I must not have been listening as closely at that point. I thought they were talking about another team. But
I mean, like that obviously works with computers, but the problem is like how do you reset a sports team? Like how do you do that? That's the biggest thing. Like comparing to that, like how do you reset a sports team?
I mean, you can do it in professional sports when you have like an all-star break. Everybody can go away for a minute and then come back and reset. But when you're in the middle of a college season, you don't have those breaks.
Yeah, there's no time. Like Utah State isn't even like doing like regular, like full on practices the same way they would do early in the season, because a lot of it is health preservation at this point. Their practices mainly consist of game planning, maintaining skills, like make sure you're getting shots up, those kind of things. But it's not like tons of practice to try and keep improving on specific things. It's maintaining skills in game planning, because you can't be doing full-on 3-hour practices at this point, because then that's impacting you in games because you're tired and sore and injured and all that.
Yeah. Now, you were talking about San Jose State. You found something interesting about defending the Spartans.
Yeah, I don't know if this holds any water, but I thought it was interesting because it had to do with balance in their offense. Talk about them having problems with balance, or like they're being too dependent on jump shots. And the interesting thing that I found, Eric, so San Jose State, when they make between 7 and 10 3-pointers, so 7, 8, 9, 10, whenever they make that, the amount of 3-pointers is within that range. If they make within that range, they're 9-5, a winning record. But if they're outside of that range, so if they make less than 7 3-pointers or more than 10, so like their season best 3-point games, if they're outside of that range between 7 and 10 3-pointers, they are 3-10 on the season. And to me, that just kind of ends up speaking to a lack of balance. It's probably just a weird stat, and maybe it's just a lot of coincidences. But it is a little weird that you look at their 5 highest 3-point, total games where they've made 11 plus 3-pointers. It can be hard to lose those games when you make so many threes. But they're 1-4. The one game being a double overtime win against Fresno State, the second worst team in the conference. So they barely beat Fresno State on the night where they made the second most 3-pointers of the season. So, and of course, the thing that kind of speaks to those performances the most is, so of those 5 games where they made 11 plus 3-pointers, their 3-point percentage was higher than their 2-point percentage, which should almost never happen unless you shoot like 50% from 3. But, I mean, in Utah State, that game was one of them where San Jose shot 42% from 3, and they were like 40.7% on all their other shots, excluding free throws. So San Jose just gets too hyper-fixated on jump shots and 3-pointers in some games, or in some games where they just maybe they're doing good inside the arc, but then they can't hit a 3-pointer. And the other aspects, I decided to add up points per game on all this. Their offense does better. Like they average, I think, 77.7 points per game when they're in that 7 to 10 made 3-pointers range. They score like 67 points per game outside of that range, including when they make 11 plus threes, their average is in the 60s. Their highest was actually against the Aggies, where they scored 78. All the other games, at least in regulation, they scored 94 against Fresno State, but that was 2 overtimes. They scored 66 in regulation in that game. So, like, the Spartans are better when they have balance, but so often they don't have balance. And so that's one of the keys in this game is just make them one-dimensional. And if they make 14 threes, but if they can't make a layup, you're probably still going to beat them.
Right. Yeah, your odds will still be in your favor.
Yeah, so I think that's, it's like when we talk about, teams that run or throw too much in football. Make them one-dimensional. Sure, they might rack up tons of stats, might be some of their best stats of the season, but they'll lose the game, and I think that kind of thing could apply here.
Reminder, pregame coverage on our sister station, KVNU, begins at 6:30. Tip-off will be at 7:30. You can hear the full play-by-play on KVNU, 102.1 FM, 610 AM. And then when the game is over, after the coach's comments, be back on the air with KVNU Aggie Call. Another quick timeout and an update on what's going on with high school sports. A busy day for Region 11 teams. Tomorrow, we'll give you the full schedule and rundown of who's still involved in the 4A boys and girls playoffs.
This is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Is it time to start thinking about retirement, Social Security, and Medicare? Are you getting ready to retire? We can help. Come the third Thursday, February 20th at 7 p.m. to our free seminar. Every third Thursday, we provide you with the best possible information to make an informed decision. We'll empower you with the information about Medicare and Social Security. Call 752-9493. Come see us at LSS Insurance the third Thursday, February 20th, 7 p.m.
Imagine your wedding day. Elegant, simple, yet stunning, stress-free. It's your day. It's all about you. Whether you're looking for small and simple or have a grander idea, the Riverwoods Conference Center will accommodate your every need. Choose the inside ballroom elegance or outside along the natural decor of the beautiful Logan River. A Riverwoods event planner will work personally with you to make sure your event is exactly how you've envisioned it. The Riverwoods Conference Center, where your happily ever after begins. Google Riverwoods Conference Center or call 750-5151.
Over the past few years, strong and crazy weather patterns have battered various parts of the country. Northern Utah and southern Idaho are not immune from its share of wild weather. Be prepared for power outages with a Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. They are your local source for Generac sales and service. Generac keeps you in control when bad weather strikes. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Need a reliable partner for your medical needs? Look no further than Triton Medical and Transportation. We offer top quality medical soft goods right here in your community. From incontinence supplies and oxygen needs to medical transportation. Whatever you need to stay comfortable and healthy, we've got you covered. Trust Triton Medical and Transportation, caring for our community with every step, every mile. Call us today at 435-557-6687 or visit us online at mytritonsupply.com. Triton Medical and Transportation, because your health matters.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Many Aggie fans like to go to the game, some fans love to yell at the TV, and all fans like to wear a shirt or a jacket with their favorite team's logo. Aggie fans find the best selection of USU logoed apparel at Locker 42. Find yourself an Aggie t-shirt for $10. Locker 42 features Aggie logoed hoodies, jackets, and golf shirts, and a hat wall with over 40 styles. Women's specific apparel, youth sizes for the junior Aggie, and toddler and infant Aggie items as well. Locker 42 is a store for Utah State fans by Utah State fans, and proud to be part of Aggie Nation.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
You can start making your nominations for the Best of Northern Utah. Nomination phase opened at noon today. Just go to bestofnorthernutah.com. Nominate your favorite businesses. If somebody's done a really good job, let them be recognized for it. bestofnorthernutah.com. So high school basketball gets underway. Their playoffs, the quarterfinals down at Southern Utah University tip off tomorrow morning. The first game of the day is at 9:30. Thank goodness none of our teams are that early, but not that far after that. It's number 1 Green Canyon versus number 9 Timpanogos just after 11. And we'll have that on local radio on 100.9 Light FM and links to watch that on CashValleyDaily.com. Now, Green Canyon 23-1 overall, facing Timpanogos, who is 17-8. The Green Canyon Wolves, one of the highest scoring teams in 4A, very solid defense as well. Timpanogos, they can keep their games close, but I would suspect that Green Canyon takes care of business in this one tomorrow morning.
I would think so. It would take a special game from Timpanogos. Mind you, they're obviously a good team getting near the 20-win mark for the season, which is pretty tricky for boys to do in high school. You don't play actually that many games. But yeah, Green Canyon, it's just really hard to stop their offense. Basically, everyone on their team can shoot a three-pointer, at least fairly well. And then they're also a great passing team, and they just got a ton of length. It's just really hard to deal with them. So unless you have tons of size and also versatility with that size, it's just really hard to stop Green Canyon.
Number 3, Ridgeline. They'll be taking on number 6, Hurricane at 2:30. That'll be broadcast on local radio on 104.5 The Ranch. Ridgeline comes into this one 19-5, Hurricane 15-8. But Ridgeline has kind of been skating by, and they've had some injuries on their squad, but they've still found out ways to win. Hurricane is a higher-powered offense. They score, well, not to much degree, but they do score a little bit more per game, but they also give up a little bit more per game than Ridgeline does. So this one could be really interesting to see if Ridgeline can still figure out a way to stay alive in this one. They almost gave it up and gave it away last week against Hillcrest.
And the thing with Ridgeline is they didn't necessarily have like a star of the team, which I think can help them in this, where it was a whole team effort. And the thing that made them great was that everyone was good. Everyone can pass, everyone can shoot, everyone can rebound. And so I think even if you have injuries, this is a team of just a bunch of good basketball players, maybe not like A-plus superstar level players, but they're all good players. And I think they can stick together and make a run here.
To girls basketball, number 6 Skyview taking on the number 1 team out of Region 8, Payson, who the number 3 team overall. Skyview is 16-7 overall, Payson 20-2. So the Bobcats have a tall order for them, but that'll be heard here on The Fan tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. So no full court press show in favor of the Skyview girls basketball team. Mountain Crest, the number 10 team, a 10-seeded team, they pulled off an upset last week. Can they pull off another one, an even bigger one, when they take on number 2 Snow Canyon, undefeated, 24-0, and tall order for the Mustangs. But if you want to listen to that one, it'll be on 107.7 KLZX. And then the nightcap, number 1 Ridgeline taking on number 8 Cedar. That'll be at 7:30. That'll be on 104.5 The Ranch. And Ridgeline undefeated. Can they go for yet another state title?
Yeah, so that Ridgeline game may not be particularly close. It just seems like we're on a crash course for Ridgeline and Snow Canyon once again. I'm going to keep an eye on that Payson Skyview because that's one that seems like it could be the closest, but Payson is also a really good team, and Skyview, if they play like they did against Westfield, they'll come away with the win. They were on fire in that game offensively and defensively, and they'll need that to beat that Payson team.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on the Full Court Press. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And make sure you tune in to KVNU this evening to hear how the Aggies do against the Spartans. Tomorrow, no show because it'll be high school hoops. And we'll be back at it again on Friday here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.